Zak Brown has now confirmed that both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have been disqualified from the Las Vegas Grand Prix. After a full investigation into a technical infringement, the FIA delivered its verdict at the Las Vegas Street Circuit, wiping both McLaren drivers from the final classification. The governing body determined that the rear skid blocks on both MCL 38s fell below the mandated 9mm minimum, an automatic breach of the technical regulations. As a result, Norris and Piastri were both struck from the results. Crucially, the FIA noted that it strongly held the view that the breach was unintentional. Stewards acknowledged McLaren's explanation that unexpected levels of porpoising, made worse by disrupted practice running, had contributed to the wear, and that the infringement itself was relatively minor compared to previous cases seen in 2025. However, even with sympathy for McLaren's circumstances, the FIA concluded that the rulebook offers no provision for any penalty other than disqualification. The stewards echoed this stance, dismissing McLaren's suggestion that accidental damage, specifically possible floor movement, might have increased skid block wear. The argument appeared in both rulings, though in truth only Piastri's car had sustained notable contact, following his Turn 1 clash with Liam Lawson. For McLaren's Constructors' title campaign, the double exclusion is little more than a footnote. The team secured the championship in Singapore with 6 races to spare. But in the drivers' fight, it's a seismic shift. The swing in points dramatically strengthens Max Verstappen's hand and tightens the battle at the top. With the updated results, Verstappen draws level with Piastri on 366 points, while Norris's once comfortable advantage has shrunk to just 24. Suddenly, the final rounds have become a 3-way knife fight. Qatar's sprint format means 58 points are still available, with 33 up for grabs this coming weekend alone. Before the disqualification, Piastri needed to outscore Norris by 5 points in Qatar simply to stay mathematically alive, then pull off a must-win in Abu Dhabi, with Norris scoring nothing to steal the crown on countback. The Vegas ruling gives Piastri a slightly clearer path, but it does something far more dramatic. It drags Verstappen firmly back into the frame. Had the original result stood, Verstappen would have needed nothing short of a miracle, outscoring Norris by 17 points in Qatar, then winning Abu Dhabi with Norris again failing to score. Even then, he would have needed a Qatar GP victory as well, simply to level their win tally and trigger a tie-break on second places, which favoured Norris. Instead, the fight is fully alive. Norris's once dominant 30-point cushion over Piastri and 42 over Verstappen has evaporated to a fragile 24 over both. To seal the title in Qatar, he now must outscore them by 2 points, no less. A 1-point edge leaves him vulnerable to a last race reversal in Abu Dhabi. That scenario remains unlikely, but not unthinkable. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Yas Marina has a flair for late-season drama. Just ask the protagonists of 2010 and, of course, the unforgettable finale of 2021. Even before the FIA investigation cast a shadow over the result, Max was already sizing up the bigger picture. Momentum, confidence, and the slim but very real chance of swinging the championship back in his favour. That set the stage for a far more animated Verstappen than usual as he reflected on his weekend in Vegas. Speaking trackside after the race, Verstappen acknowledged that the odds were still stacked against him. With only a handful of points-paying opportunities left, he admitted he would need a little luck on my side to claw back his deficit to championship leader Lando Norris. It depends a lot on how our car will perform in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. It's a very, very big gap. It's also not something that will be easily overturned. We need a bit of luck for that, but we can still win races and we'll try. Before the paddock learned of the looming technical investigation, Verstappen was asked why this particular victory seemed to lift his spirits more than most. Grinning after a weekend of near-flawless execution, he explained, "It's because they don't come as easy as 23. In 23, it was more like ticking boxes. Now, it's not like that. And we've come from a very tough period already last year." This year has been annoying at some stages as well. Everyone was not happy with the performances, and to still have this kind of end to the season is for us amazing. You need to enjoy that because it's a big motivational boost to everyone, and that's the same for me. His dominance under the Vegas lights was undeniable. Verstappen seized the lead immediately when pole sitter Norris locked up and ran wide into turn 1. And from there, the Dutchman delivered a clinical, unhurried drive, eventually taking the checkered flag with a commanding 20-second margin. Reflecting on the performance, he added, "Yeah, it was good. Of course, with practice not really knowing what the tyres were going to do, even in the race, I think everyone was just trying to find a rhythm and see how much you could push, especially in the first stint because being on the more fragile tyre. It worked really well. Normally the race is always a tough one for us. We are normally not that great on tyres, but today it seemed like we had that a little bit more under control, and I could push a little bit more. And that unlocked a bit more pace. I could stay out a bit longer and split basically the race in half. It definitely helped a lot, and the car was working pretty well, much more to my liking, and it was at the end quite a decent gap. It was just every lap feeling comfortable and not taking too much out of the tyre. That commanding victory set the stage for the post-race autopsies, and few were as blunt as the one directed at Lando Norris. Disqualification drama or not, the Britain's night unravelled long before the stewards reached their verdict, and former F1 driver David Coulthard believes Norris has only himself to blame for losing out to Verstappen in Las Vegas. Starting from pole for the third consecutive race, after mastering Friday's wet qualifying, Norris had all the ingredients for a statement win. Instead, as he later admitted, he fucked up. His launch off the line was strong, but an aggressive chop to the left in an attempt to shut the door on Verstappen proved costly. The move squeezed the Red Bull hard against the wall and forced Verstappen onto the less grippy side of the track heading into turn 1. But it was Norris who paid the immediate price. Carrying too much speed into the corner, he ran wide, surrendering the lead to Verstappen and even allowing George Russell to slip through. Though he eventually recovered to retake second place, the damage was done. The gap to Verstappen ballooned and the win evaporated. Coulthard believes Norris knows exactly what went wrong. Lando Norris tried to play Max Verstappen at his own game. The problem is that he doesn't know the rules of that game, said the former McLaren driver. Not everyone in the paddock was critical, though. Jenson Button praised the ambition behind Norris's bold defense, even if the execution faltered. Speaking with Zak Brown on Sky, Button said the aggression was refreshing to see, if a touch over-eager into turn 1. Brown responded by saying, "Yeah, exactly. Max got a little bit better jump and Lando went to protect and just cooked it a little bit. But good to see he wasn't going to make it easy." Interestingly, Verstappen himself was quick to defend Norris. After the race, he reflected on the Britain's defensive swerve with empathy rather than frustration, pointing out that the freshly resurfaced Las Vegas track made the mistake almost inevitable. "Yeah, I mean, that's what you should do. I mean, to cover off, of course, the inside," he told media. "But I think, yeah, it's very easy to get caught out with where you have to brake. Also because normally in the start you leave the grid and then you look in the mirror. But here it's almost like you don't have a lot of time to look in the mirror because you immediately have to brake again. And it's quite slippery anyway. So I guess that's what happened." He went on to explain how the early duel, brief but intense, shaped the rest of the race, allowing him to settle into a rhythm as soon as he found clean air. "I mean, it helped, of course, to get into the lead in turn 1, he acknowledged. "I do think in the first stint we were all finding our feet a bit with how much to push or not, how much we had to manage. Because I do think we're all quite close up until the pit stops. So, we were just trying to get a good balance, because we didn't really get to have a good understanding on Thursday. But yeah, it felt better than expected, I would say." How do you feel about the double disqualification for McLaren? Are you happy about it? Is it unfair to Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the latest in Formula One. Thanks for watching.